Well, with the year-end holidays approaching, many people here in Korea are planning to have parties to celebrate the end of the year. One of the popular beverages enjoyed at parties is, of course, wine, and wine culture has gained popularity here in recent years. Wine consumption started to grow since the year 2000, and according to the Korea Customs Service, wine imports jumped nearly 24% this year compared to last year. We're very pleased to have joining us an internationally renowned wine critic and the wine editor for Asia Tatler, Mr. James Suckling. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. First, perhaps a broad question for the benefit of our listeners. How did you become interested in wine in the first place, and what do you like most in a wine?
Well, I got interested in wine, like many people, through parents. My father is or was a wine collector when I was growing up, so we always had nice bottles of wine at dinner, and he was nice enough to always share a glass or two with me when I was growing up. Because I think the best way to learn about wine is actually drinking wine, experiencing it.
Okay. You've garnered a lot of media attention here in Korea. As far as your views with Korean food, most people would not necessarily assume that necessarily marries well with wine. You feel that there is actually a good combination there. How would you approach people who say that this is just completely impossible to pair?
Well, my wife-to-be is Korean. She's from Seoul, so we eat Korean food almost every day. And I think it's such a fantastic, versatile food with all the different flavors and taste sensations. And I just love trying different wines with it. And I think that Asians, Koreans, and particularly Chinese have a very unique approach to wine, because I believe that their palates are much more sophisticated than Western palates, because every day they're tasting different foods, experiences different sensations. So when they taste wine, they taste the wine and enjoy that, and then they taste the food. It's not the sort of Western way of trying to look for perfect wine and food pairings and spending a lot of time with it. I think it's really enjoyment. So I love Korean food with wine, red, white, sparkling wines. I think it works really well, and I'm not afraid of kimchi with red wine.
Wow. I mean, that is probably good news to all the wine lovers here in Korea. But one problem that consumers have in Korea, as I'm sure you know very well, are the exorbitantly high prices. A lot of people thought that we had FTAs with Chile, the United States, with Europe. The tariffs would go down. Yet prices still stay sky high. I guess a recent report also pointing out Koreans actually pay the most for wine among OECD nations. What do you think is the problem with the pricing?
I think that's obviously all due to duties and taxes. Hong Kong had a similar situation, but in 2008 it actually dropped all duties and tariffs, and the wine market has just boomed ever since. So really it's just a problem with the taxes. I mean, the government has to drop taxes on wine. It's just not right. And I know that Koreans are great drinkers and great wine lovers. The market could explode. And I just think that there's such a sophistication, particularly in Seoul. People are traveling. People are interested in different foods. And, of course, wine is just part of this growing sophisticated lifestyle in Seoul. So the government must drop taxes.
Yeah, I hope the policymakers are listening to what you're saying here.
I did say that at a dinner, by the way, with the mayor of Seoul there and the ex-prime minister of Korea. So people were clapping.
Well, I'm sure that was a very popular applause line. As you know, your experience in Korea with Koreans is quite extensive. Are there any characteristics of Korean wine consumers or the way they approach wine that's different than perhaps Western consumers?
Yes, very much. And I would say it's actually needs to be changed in the sense that Koreans, when they don't know anything about wine, but they're sort of interested in it, I find that they're a little bit intimidated, and they keep on saying, well, I'd like to get into wine, but I need to learn about it first. And I appreciate that sort of showing respect to something like wine with its long history and culture. But I just say to people, no, don't do that. Just open the bottle, drink it, and enjoy it. You don't have to learn about it. The only way to really learn about wine is drinking it. So Koreans have to relax and enjoy it.
Sort of just take the plunge and
Exactly.
Jump in with both feet. Despite what we're saying about how there's this burgeoning interest and more people, as you point out, especially here in Seoul, growing more sophisticated, the interest in wine growing. It is still a relatively small market here in Korea, as I'm sure you know. I mean, a lot of people still favor the soju for some of these late night excursions. What do you foresee as far as the future for the Korean wine market?
Well, I just see a great future, and in fact, I've been here about 4 or 5 times this year, not only visiting friends and family, but also talking to wine merchants, going to restaurants, and I just see wonderful growth here, and people are interested in wine. You know, when they try it, they like it. So I could see that this is sort of like America in the 1960s before it really got caught in, you know, it really started drinking wine. And I could see in the next 10 years, you know, the market could easily increase 5-fold.
And maybe you can give some advice to our listeners as well, because the typical consumer in Korea, when it comes to wine, it still tends to be somewhat of a luxury. You don't see the average Joe, whereas in the United States, I mean, pretty much anybody across the socioeconomic ladder would consume wine. In your view, does wine, and I know there is a certain affinity for luxury or high-end or expensive products here, does it necessarily have to be super expensive to guarantee the quality?
No, that's a good question, because obviously a lot of that high price you're paying for is the brand. It's just like, you know, buying an expensive car or expensive handbag or whatever. Of course, there is quality there, great quality. But that's what's so exciting about drinking wine today, is you don't have to spend a lot of money to drink an excellent bottle of wine. With all the improvements in viticulture and winemaking, all the different areas around the world making wine, I mean, you can pick up a good bottle. I was just down in a wine shop today. I was looking, you could pick up good bottles for, let's say, 20,000, 25,000. That, you know, obviously it's hard to find wines at that price because of the tax structure. But don't always think that the higher the price, the better the wine. And also don't think if you don't spend a lot of money, then you're not going to get a good bottle of wine.
All right. Well, that's certainly some comfort to many of us who simply don't want to shell out a couple $100 for a decent bottle all the time. Finally, we do want to congratulate you on your wedding. Is it safe to say that despite being an internationally renowned wine critic, you will in the future continue to have this connection with Korean culture and show an interest, and hopefully this growth of wine here in Korea would be something that I suppose you can be one of the people that sort of set the tone for?
No, well, thank you. And we come to Korea all the time because my wife's family's here. And also my wife is a wine merchant as well in Hong Kong. So we come all the time. We have a lot of friends in the trade, and we really want to help grow the market in Korea. And I hope to do some consumer events and organize some things in the coming years. So I'm very excited about my connection to Korea, because I think this is a fabulous country and so diverse and interesting, and the people amazing, and also the food's fantastic. So,
well, I want to thank you so much for spending the time with us, despite obviously a very busy schedule. Best of luck to you, sir, and hopefully when you come back to Korea again, we can have another chance to talk.
Great. Happy holidays to you and everyone.
Thank you.